Think back to a moment when you felt truly invisible. Perhaps it was a meeting where your idea was ignored, only to be praised when someone else said it. Or a social gathering where someone spoke over you as if your voice had no weight. It's a quiet, stinging kind of pain when people underestimate your worth. It makes you want to shout, to prove them wrong, to demand the respect you know you deserve. But here is the truth that the most powerful people in history understood. Being underestimated is not a weakness. It is actually your greatest superpower. When people count you out, they stop watching you. They get comfortable. And that is exactly when you have the ultimate advantage. Today, we aren't just talking about coping. We are looking at 7 specific psychology tricks that will shift the power back to you, leaving those who doubted you wondering how they ever missed your potential. Point 1. The power of strategic silence. When someone underestimates you, they often expect you to be defensive. They expect you to over-explain your credentials or audition for their approval. The first trick to reclaiming your power is to deny them that satisfaction through strategic silence. When someone dismisses you or makes a condescending remark, don't snap back. Instead, simply stop talking. Maintain calm, steady eye contact, and wait for 3 full seconds. In psychology, this creates what we call a tension vacuum. Humans are naturally uncomfortable with silence. We feel a desperate need to fill it. Most people, when faced with your silence, will start babbling to fill the gap. They will backtrack, explain their joke, or reveal their own insecurities. Your silence sends a powerful, non-verbal message. I am so comfortable in my own skin that your opinion does not require a response. You aren't being rude. You are being immovable. In the world of social dynamics, the person who can sit comfortably in silence is almost always perceived as the one with the most power. Point 2. Master the competence shock. We live in a loud culture. People love to announce their 5-year plans, their daily workouts, and their grind. But for the person being underestimated, your best friend is invisibility. This is the competence shock. Underestimators feed on your words. They look for flaws in your plans so they can tell you why you'll fail. Stop giving them ammunition. Work in the shadows. If you're learning a new language, starting a business, or mastering a difficult skill, don't tell a soul. Let the first time they hear about your progress be the moment the result is already finished. The psychological impact of sudden success is massive. When people don't see the struggle, the work, or the incremental steps, your talent seems effortless and intimidating. By the time they realize you've surpassed them, you're already miles ahead. As the old saying goes, work hard in silence. Let your success be your noise. Point 3. The inverted question technique. When someone tries to belittle your expertise, your natural instinct is to say, "Actually, I do know what I'm talking about because this is a mistake." This places you in a subordinate position where you are seeking their validation. Instead, use the inverted question. Flip the burden of proof onto them. If someone dismisses your project or idea, don't defend it. Instead, look at them with genuine curiosity and ask a hyper-specific question about their logic. You might say, "That's an interesting perspective. I'm curious. Walk me through the specific data points or experiences that led you to that conclusion." Now, the spotlight is on them. Most underestimators operate on feelings of superiority rather than facts. When they are forced to explain their dismissal, their logic usually collapses under its own weight. You haven't started an argument. You've simply held up a mirror to their ignorance. Point 4. Use negative interest. People who underestimate you often have an inflated ego. They expect and even crave the satisfaction of seeing you try to impress them. They want to be the judge in the room. To break this cycle, you must use negative interest. This doesn't mean being mean. It means being slightly less interested in them than they expect you to be. When they speak, listen politely, but don't nod enthusiastically. Don't laugh at their mediocre jokes just to fit in. Don't ask follow-up questions that stroke their ego. By showing negative interest, you signal that their approval is not a currency you value. In the human brain, we tend to assign higher value to things that are hard to get. When you stop chasing their validation, you paradoxically become the person whose validation they start to want. You've moved from being the outsider to being the person who sets the tone for the room. Point 5. The low-stakes excellence method. If you want to truly disarm someone who doubts you, show mastery in a way they didn't expect, but in a low-stakes environment. This is about showing your depth without showing your hand. For example, if you are in a meeting about marketing, but you happen to know a great deal about history or philosophy, weave a brief, profound analogy into the conversation. Don't make a big deal of it. Just drop a nugget of high-level wisdom and move on. This creates a mystery effect. It makes people think, if they know that much about this random topic, what else are they hiding? It creates a sense of intellectual depth that makes people hesitate before dismissing you again. You are signaling that you are a deep well, and most people are afraid of what they can't see the bottom of. Point 6. Pivot the narrative with grace. Sometimes, underestimation comes in the form of backhanded compliments or helpful advice that is actually meant to keep you in your place. Oh, that's a very brave project for someone with your experience level. The trick here is to pivot with grace. Don't get offended. Instead, accept the compliment and immediately expand the scope. You could say, I appreciate that. I've always found that the most growth happens at the edge of one's experience, which is exactly why I've structured this to scale even further next year. By doing this, you've taken their attempt to label you as inexperienced and reframed it as a sign of your strategic growth. You aren't fighting their narrative. You are simply outgrowing it in real time. Point 7. The outcome detachment stance. The final and perhaps most important trick is an internal one: outcome detachment. The reason we feel hurt when people underestimate us is that we are attached to their opinion of us. We want them to see us correctly. But consider this: why would you want a person with limited vision to be the judge of your potential? Their underestimation of you is not a report card on your value. It is a confession of their own blindness. When you truly detach from the need to be correctly understood by everyone, you gain a terrifying level of freedom. You stop performing for an audience that doesn't matter. You start moving with the confidence of someone who knows the end of the story while everyone else is still stuck on the first chapter. Being underestimated is like being a seed buried in the dirt. To the world, it looks like you've been cast aside. But in reality, you are in the only place where you can truly grow, away from the distractions and the noise. Which of these 7 tricks resonated with you the most? Is there someone in your life right now whose doubt you are going to turn into fuel? Let me know your story in the comments. I read as many as I can. If this deep dive into the psychology of worth helped you today, please hit that like button and subscribe to Wisdom Wave. Remember, the quietest ocean always holds the strongest current. Stay wise.